One of the things that Governor Cuomo the Lesser had campaigned on was to clean up Albany. Albany in New York State politics are notoriously corruptish. And I think that's true of a lot of states. But New York has got a lot of dicey figures. And back in 2013, to a great fanfare, Mr. Cuomo established the Moreland Commission. This was a commission that was to look at corruption. And I think at the time he announced that these investigators will be independent, that these investigators, he said they would be totally independent. Anything they want to look at, they can look at. Me, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the comptroller, any senator, any assemblyman. Well, the New York Times has done an extensive 3-month investigation. And apparently 2 months into the existence of the Moreland Commission, its investigators were looking for violations of campaign finance laws. They issued a subpoena to a media buying firm that had placed millions of dollars worth of advertisements for the New York State Democratic Party. What the investigators did not realize at the time was that Mr. Cuomo the Lesser was among one of its clients. Apparently, he had bought airtime through them for his 2010 election. Word of that subpoena being issued reached Mr. Cuomo's most senior aide, Lawrence S. Schwartz. He called one of the commission's 3 co-chairs, William J. Fitzpatrick, the district attorney in Syracuse. "This is wrong," Mr. Schwartz said, according to Mr. Fitzpatrick, whose account was corroborated by 3 other people. "Pull it back." The subpoena was swiftly withdrawn. The panel's chief investigator explained in an email to 2 other co-chairs later that afternoon they apparently produced ads for the governor. The governor now maintains he had every right to monitor and direct the work of the commission that he created. Many commissioners and investigators saw the demands as politically motivated interference. The commission developed a list of promising targets, including a lawmaker suspected of using campaign funds to support a girlfriend in another state and pay tanning salon bills. The panel also highlighted activities it saw as politically odious but perfectly legal. But the New York Times found that the governor's office deeply compromised the panel's work, objecting whenever the commission focused on groups with ties to Mr. Cuomo or on issues that might reflect poorly on him. 6 months after establishing the commission in July, Mr. Cuomo disbanded the commission, even though it was supposed to exist for 18 months. Before its demise, Mr. Cuomo's aides repeatedly pressured the commission. Investigators believe Cuomo appointee was monitoring the communications of the commission without their knowledge. The examination included a review of hundreds of email subpoenas and internal documents and interviews of more than 36 commission members. And the Times found the governor's office interfered with the commission when it was looking into groups that were politically close to him. In fact, the commission never tried to investigate his administration. So any claims that, of course, the commission couldn't do so because it was a conflict of interest is simply a red herring. A grand jury has been called to investigate this by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Manhattan. I don't know if any laws were broken here, but as Lawrence Lessig said on his blog today, if this is true, then the governor should resign. The corruption here is different, comparing this to Eliot Spitzer. And much, much worse. If an aide to the chief corruption reformer in New York has corruptly interfered with a corruption investigation, then New York doesn't need that corruption reformer anymore because it's not what he is. If the charge is true, then this is a governor who believes himself above the law. That is the keystone of corruption. If the charge is true, then Cuomo should go as quickly as Spitzer did, for the hypocrisy here is worse. And so the party can get on to electing its next governor, hopefully this time one honestly focused on reform. It'll be interesting to see if there are calls for Cuomo to resign. He will never resign. He will never, ever resign. The guy is a major league a-hole.
But does this hurt and undermine him in a broader way?
Oh yeah, I mean this
is when you tip from progressives have never liked him because of all the reasons we outline all the time. But this gets into just broader.
Right. We have now moved from him being a ideological right winger when it comes to economic issues, into, hey, is this guy corrupt? And in that, this is a guy who has a lot of Democratic support. But those Democrats who don't pay that much attention or don't really care about financial issues, this is an issue that can resonate across ideologies. So we'll see.